Now, Jesus knew how to tell stories. He was the best in the world, in my opinion. And the story that he's talking about, remember, is a story of a farmer who goes out and he plants seeds. He just throws out seeds. And there's different types of grounds here. And these parables, which is comparing together, putting one thing alongside another, is just beautiful. He takes the natural things like a farm and seeds and sun and all that and the birds. And then he is telling this awesome story, sad story, but awesome, sharing a very powerful spiritual, invisible, moral truth. Is very cool. Parables, the reason he did these, well, you know, of course, it makes it more interesting. You know, a good story kind of gets out a good illustration. And it also, a picture is better than just words. Like I'm just telling you words here, but I try and bring you like a picture, visual like this. And as you can tell, I'm sort of dressed like in my farmer's hat. So it's a picture, kind of maybe helps you to remember it. So these disciples and the people around them, they remember those stories. And I'm sure his voice and how he said it, his heart full of God, he himself being God, the passion there. And then I would love to have heard him. You know, I'd like to have replays of these stories, you know. Jesus, when I go to heaven, I'm serious. I'd like to sit and have a replay in a big heavenly movie screen. And but anyway, so this parable is really important. Now, it's about 4 grounds, and it's super sad. 3 out of 4, and you know, 3 out of 4 kinds of people, when they hear the word of God, it just isn't doing them any good. Super, super sad. Well, here's a question I have for you. See if you can answer this here, and that is, which do you think is the most important part of these stories? Which should we focus on? Like, which thing is more important? Here's the farmer, okay? Very important to the story. Got to have a farmer. And then you have over here these 4 kinds of grounds. See, there's 4 kinds of grounds that he's mentioned. And then he talks about using the seeds. The farmer has the seeds here, you know, which is the word of God. Now, of course, you know, you can say, well, the word of God is more important. That's not what I'm saying. Which do you think Jesus would have you focus on? Which is important for your life to focus on? Well, I would suggest that it is this one right here. Hold on for a second. It would be this one right here. I'm going to erase this and put the word in. You ready? I would say the soils. Okay. I think Jesus wants you to work on that. This one right here. The farmer definitely could be, in my opinion, Jesus. Later, he tells another parable, and he actually says, this guy, I think is a farmer too, is a son of man, you know, so definitely. And of course, the word of God is very important. We should focus on the word of God and get it, hear it, receive it, understand it, keep it, etc. But these soils are very important. And if you remember, as a quick review, let's go through that real quick. Let me erase all this. The first soil, do you remember what it was? It was the path. This is a path, and that's beside the fields that you're walking through. And this is basically just hard ground, and the seed comes down on it, and it just lands on it, and it just doesn't really do anything. It doesn't go inside. And then the birds of the air come. I'll just throw a real quick like V's. The birds come down and they just swoop down and gobble it up. Goodbye, seed. And you know, Satan does that. How does he do it, by the way? We didn't really discuss that. Well, I think as soon as you leave church, or as soon as you hear me, you leave this video, or you read the Bible and then you go away, then there's just a new interest, a new something comes up and your mind is over there. And then you even forget it. You literally forget what was read or what you learned. And you're getting into new things. You're distracted. You're over here watching TV, which, you know, I'm not saying all this is bad, but the thing is, it didn't go down inside. It didn't change your life. If the Word of God is not changing your life, something's wrong. And it's not the Word of God. It's the soil. It's the heart. It's the kind of person you are. So the first one was super sad. And the devil does that. People might hear the Bible, might hear the Word of God, go out of church, and they go back to whatever they're living, they're doing their life, and it goes like in one ear, out the other. Super sad. Well, this next one was a quickly come, quickly go type person. If you remember, this is the stony heart, or we'll call it the rocky heart. Okay, that's a rocky soil right there. And if you remember there, it's kind of like there's about 2 or 3 inches maybe under the ground. There's kind of a real limestone. It's really hard. It's kind of a rock that goes all the way across. And sometimes it could be patches, it could be rocks, but it goes down just for a couple inches in the earth, and then the plant comes up. It roots for a little bit, but it doesn't have much rooting. It can't get moisture down there because this is so dry right here, and it depends on the rain that comes in. And then, of course, remember we said the sun comes up. Maybe it's like what the Bible calls early rain, latter rain. And the early rain is like fall, like November, that type of end of October, mid-November, early November, the rains come down. And from there all the way through January, all the way to February, it's a rainy season. It's the early rains. And then after like February-ish, then what happens is, it's really, the water's in the ground and all. Now let's get ready to start planting seeds. Well, first plowing and then planting. And that comes in the early spring, I would say, like April, March time. That's when you plant seeds. And then you have another season of rain. And that goes like April, May, probably June. So April, May, somewhere there, just is another latter rain. Like you have early and then later, or early and latter. Which that's when that happens. Well, what happens is after the rainy season, it does well. And then after the rain is done, then it gets super hot and heat. Woo! Oh my goodness. The heat, it's sweaty like crazy, kind of dries up the plants. And they don't have moisture. They can't get it. It's not enough rain, and it dries up, and then they just kind of wither and die. So they're out of it, and they decided. They died. This is a person that doesn't have much root in themselves. They're not really deeply committing themselves. They're not really thinking deeply about what they're doing. They're just saying, hey, I'll accept Jesus. I want Jesus. Yeah. And they know it doesn't change their life. Oh, they might have a temporary change. You may go, well, I'm going to start serving Jesus, read the Bible for a while, and then they just wither away. They fade. They don't keep reading the Bible. They don't continue. They don't continue praying. They're just kind of out real quick. Quickly come, quickly go. Super, super sad. Okay, so the next soil is what we're going to talk about here, and let's call that the thorns. Okay. So let me write that down real quick. This is the thorny soil right here, thorny. Okay, this is the one that we're going to discuss this time. And Jesus said that the farmer comes out. Okay, let me draw my little farmer here. Here and here. He's coming out and he's throwing his seed. Here's his bag. Okay, and here's his arm. Okay, I'll get you a closer look in a second. Let's get him a hat like I have right now. Like this is his farmer's hat or something. And so he's dropping the seeds in the ground. He's throwing them out there. He's throwing them out. And then the ground right here, inside the ground, and maybe he doesn't see it. It hasn't been cleared out. And that's not the farmer's fault. The farmer's just planting the seed. Well, in a way it is. But the picture is us throwing the word of God out. You're preaching. I can't go in and change hearts. I can't clean them up. I can't get things out of their heart. That's you who has to do that. That's me that has to prepare my heart. The person who's preaching the word of God, if it's not working, it doesn't mean it's the preacher. If I'm sharing all these videos and it's not really changing your life, that's not my fault. I'm sorry, but you have to really commit yourself and dig deep. Now, what this is this is thorns. So inside, it's good soil at this point. It seems like pretty good soil, but inside the soil, and I'll explain what the thorns mean. Well, Jesus explained it. Inside, suddenly the thorns start springing up along with the plant. So I'm just going to draw thorny, like thorns coming out here, like it's just thorny, and it's down in here. And then here's some more thorns just coming out like all over the place. Look, it's kind of getting really cramped in there. And what happens is it gets so crowded with thistles and thorns and all that the little seeds that try to plant down there, those little seeds down there that went inside the ground, it really can't grow. It's being choked. Like the roots are choking any water, any rain, any moisture, and the sun can't kind of beam through it. It's like too many thorns, and the sun above doesn't give its warmth and all. So that's a really super problem here. This is a thorny ground. This is the one that they hear the word, they receive it, like the second one. They even understand. Remember, the first ground, they didn't even understand it. They just, I don't get all this. You know, walk away from religion, walk away from God, walk away from the word. But the thorny ground is a person who understands, they hear the word and they receive it. But Jesus said, he said that the cares of this world, so I'm writing this out here for you, the cares of this world choke the word. I'll do all of them and talk about it. 2 is, another one he said is, for the little ones, the trickery, I don't know if that's easy. The deceitfulness was what he said. It's the lies of what? Deceit, I hope I spell this right. Deceitfulness, deceitfulness. Deceitfulness of riches, deceitfulness of riches, money starts, they want to be rich and they're distracted and they go towards richness. So the deceitfulness of riches, getting wealthy, materialism, things to get in this earth, physical things. Another one he said, and I'm going to put Matthew, Mark, Luke together and kind of add them all here. These are the 2 big ones that he said, but actually lust of other things, the desire. Luke adds this. We'll go over it when we get on Luke 2 as a review. Desire of other things. Other things. And also Luke said riches. See, he said riches. He said cares and riches. Cares and riches and pleasures. Pleasures of this world enter in and they choke the word. So what happens is the cares of this world, like the life that we're living and all, they start getting, well, the word can mean distractions of the world, like things that's pulling your mind off of God and worries, anxieties, and you're not really focused on God so much, you're worried on making it in life. Man, if you just trust in God and you do your part, sure, you have to work and all that, but you don't let that be a burden to you. And you also don't want to have this sense of the importance of the world. It isn't important, the things of the world, like celebrities and the cares, the thing that people are interested in. And then the deceitfulness of riches is, riches are okay. It's okay to get rich. Lots of people in the Bible got rich. I mean, think of Solomon. Of course, that's not a good example because he fell, but it wasn't his riches that fell, caused him to fall. It was disobeying God in another area of his life. Abraham was rich. He never fell away from God. David was rich. And so, but they didn't really go after riches. God blessed them with riches. If you remember in Solomon's life, God said, because you're asking me for my wisdom, Solomon's right with God at this point. He said, because you're asking me for wisdom, I'm going to give you wisdom. I'm going to make you very wise, which he did. He wrote most of the book of Proverbs. But he also said, because you asked for wisdom, I'm going to give you riches and honor. I'm going to make you a famous person. He became a famous person at that time. But more than that, the problem is going after riches. You're not supposed to trust in it, desire it. You're not supposed to want it, like really go after it. So that's a problem. It's the deceitfulness of riches can really cause you to go, away from God. And those are the things that choke the word. So you're hearing the Bible and all of a sudden the life and the power of the word doesn't work in you. The seeds don't work because you've got thorns, the cares of this world, the deceitfulness of riches, and then, and then the desire, the lust after other things, the desire of other things. Now think about that word other right there. Jesus said the desire for other things choke the word. So what's important in your life? What is it that's, are you going after? Are you going after all sorts of other things instead of God and his word? Now, it's okay to do other things, but my number one thing should be I'm going after Jesus. So does that mean, Gordon, you can't do sports? Of course not. Dancing? Of course not. Some other thing that you're involved in, your interest, but it doesn't even compare to your interest in God and His Word, like prayer, Bible, church, things. So these become thorns for you. So that little seed, I'm going to pull out another kind of a fake seed. I made it larger so you can see it here. Okay. So you've got like, let's say this is a seed. It's a big seed. Okay, so you got the seed, and you got a handful, like there's a bunch of seeds and all, green and white. Anyway, so what you're going to do is you plant the word in you. You learn a verse from the Bible, another verse, another verse, another verse. Yeah, like that. And you just get all these seeds going into you. Now, if your heart is cleared out and it's good, this will grow. And you will grow as a Christian very strong. You become more like Jesus. But the problem is, you didn't clear out your heart and you're interested in other things, so you get thorns. These are actual sharp thorns, by the way, from a plant. This is another one. Ooh, I hope I don't cut myself and all. But, they start growing up too. So it was good ground. But inside, you didn't really clear out your heart. And then let's just add a bunch of thorns here. So I don't know if you can see this. But, oh, look at this thorn. Woo! That's a sharp one. All right, so you got all these thorns there it is right there. See, I don't know if you can see that. Hope it's clear. So it's just a bunch of thorns in your life. Poor little seeds down there. Like, they're not going to be able to grow. They're not going to root back good because the thorns has its own roots inside the ground. It's being choked underneath. And then the sun that comes up isn't really being able to get the warmth to it. And it just really chokes it. So you might be learning the Word of God. Good for you, seriously. Seriously, I'm proud of you. That's really good stuff. Nevertheless, you might not having the power. You're not getting the power of the Word really affecting your life, and you're not going deep, and you're not going tall inside spiritually. You're not growing as a mature Christian. And Luke said it's not being it's not fruit to perfection. It just doesn't mature. And so it's really sad. It's just being choked. And you got a little thing. I don't know if that person's truly a Christian, maybe, but I don't know. There's a lot of Christians who believe they're not Christians in that passage. Probably not, So I hope you got something out of this. And please clear your life out. Like, try and put other things, like, don't get so involved. Don't get obsessed with something. Maybe you're just spending all your time playing video games. Or maybe you just all your time, and like, really? You think the Word of God is going to go deep in you and going to really, really change you and have an impact on your life? So many youth and kids nowadays are into video games. Or maybe it's, I don't know, your phone, if you're older, phone. And what happened to the Bible? Like cleared out. Believe me, it's far better, far more enjoyable. You say, Gordon, how do you know? Because I used to be in video games. I got trapped in that for a little bit. And it didn't take long. I thought, what am I doing? I'll tell you a quick story. I used to have an apartment, and I used to have kids hang out, and I used to play games. And then they'd leave, and I'd play another couple of hours or something. Yeah, you could get like obsessed with it. You kind of get drugged by it. Just, like, you're addicted. And then I said, this is a waste. So I threw the whole thing away. I threw the whole component away, and threw it in the garbage, got rid of it. And the kids were fine with that. We did other things. It was fun. So, I also got rid of my television set years and years ago. Years ago, I threw that away. It was a pretty big TV set, pretty good. And it's just time consuming, take away from my life. Have I blown it since then? Yeah. I have. I've wasted a lot of time. And that chokes the Word. You're desiring other things. All right, that's it. I got it. There's a thorny one. God bless you. Thanks for listening. Please let it affect your life and make good decisions. Bye.